My wife cheated on me 5 years ago for 2 years, kept it silent for 3 years whilst we bought a house and had our first child. Tried to reconcile/survive for 2 years whilst raising an infant together, but now I'm finally divorcing. A rundown. We 33M and 34F got married in 2019, bought our house in 2021. Had our first, and only, child in late 2022. But in early 2023 I got that sense that something just wasn't right. We'd been arguing differently, she seemed to bear some resentment towards me. It felt different. I'd never had any reason to mistrust her in terms of being faithful because she always seemed sweet, loyal and sensitive, but something in my mind nagged me. I snooped on her phone one night and uncovered explicit pictures and videos. She'd never sent anything like that to me throughout that time, which is why I know they must have been for someone else. Digging further, there were also screenshots of WhatsApp conversations with these people, screenshots that only existed because she was sharing her escapades with one of her friends, we'll call her Emma, she's not a lifelong or childhood friend or anything, who was also cheating on her partner, like this was just one of their hobbies in common or something. The only reason I know so much, who they were, the kind of dialogue, proof of meetups and intent to meet up etc., is because of those WhatsApp screenshots. The evidence stretches from late 2019 to early 2022, and that was the absolute kick in the teeth. It had been a whole year, at most, of marriage, before it was quietly destroyed in secret, unbeknownst to me. I did a paternity test in secret and the child is mine. I was obviously absolutely destroyed. I felt the fight or flight response like something you'd never believe. It was like a bucket of icy water and I couldn't sleep for 2 weeks while I tried to think of a path out of this sudden nightmare, keeping quiet about what I found until I found the moment to confront. I couldn't care less about losing my wife, because as soon as I uncovered this betrayal I wanted nothing more than to rip it all out, root and stem. What really makes my heart and soul freeze over is the fact that we walked hand in hand through these major life steps, some of which irreversible and life-changing, all the while she knew that there was a bomb waiting to go off underneath it all, for years. All because she was too impulsive and immature to avoid making such mistakes in the first place, and then too cowardly to come clean, for 3 whole years at minimum. If the tables were turned, I couldn't possibly imagine being able to keep something like this quiet for 3 days, let alone 3 years. Given that I had to find it myself, she'd probably have been perfectly prepared to take it to the grave. It made me feel like a pet, an ornament, like my life didn't matter so long as she got me to serve her aims. Yes, I was trickle-truthed like mad. If I didn't have evidence, no admission would come out of my wife's mouth. If not for our child, I would have left on day 1 of discovery without hesitation, but I felt I owed it to our child of 6 months of age at the time, just to give things time for the dust to settle and see if somehow it could be repaired and my wife could demonstrate actual, visible and distinct change. Mostly I just feared the scenario where I couldn't watch over my son every day. For the last 2 years, I have probably been in shock, denial, emotionally detached and just on autopilot. She didn't really change, she acts sorry, sad and heartbroken, but she's also proven in distinct ways since being outed that she's still able to lie to my face without hesitation, exhibit a being that she met with Emma in secret earlier this year, despite me telling her on day 1 of recovery that I wanted her to cut things off with her, hard stop. She never asked if it was okay, because she knew I'd say no. There's been plenty of little examples along the way that she still has an addiction to lying and keeping secrets, but this is a clear-cut example that you guys could understand. All along there's been an outward display of sympathy and understanding on her part, but there's an underlying tone of minimalization and excusal in her words and demeanor. She says things like, "It was so long ago," or, "I'm a different person now," but hearing these things enrage me. I have given things long enough to find out whether the relationship will ever feel right again in myself. Even if she displayed immense progress and growth, I don't think I would ever really recover from such a fundamental failure of morals and conscience. Keeping something secret so long displays a capacity to do things I couldn't even imagine. She's been massively bad with money in the past, too, causing us to have piles of debt which I was also working hard to put right all throughout the period she was cheating. I have woken up. I gave her the divorce sit-down 4 weeks ago, and I'm no longer scared of co-parenting. I've come to accept that staying together in a tense and untrustworthy relationship is more damaging to a child than separating into 2 different bubbles. The bubble I control will be calm, safe and stable, because that's who I am. Early on in reconciliation, I told myself that it was better for me to carry the burden of heartbreak than to pass that burden onto my child in the form of a broken home. It's the understanding and realization that this is now a broken home that flicked a switch in my heart and helped me break free from a misplaced sense of duty and commit to get my life back.